Hey guys, Tim Kovacic here from Crow Studios. Wanted to give you a preview of some of the different user interface that we've been working on in our prototyping phase for our game Empire Frontiers and Fortunes. This is going to be a 3D real-time grand strategy experience inspired by the board game Risk as well as Creative Assembly's um, Total War series. And what you're seeing here is on the top, we got one user in the main menu screen and another user on the bottom here in the login screen. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be logging in one of these users. And here in the main menu, you can create a new game. You can load a previous game that you saved to, as well as search and join a game that someone else has hosted. So we're going to create a new game here. And there's a bunch of different settings. Some of them are self-explanatory, but I want to go over just a few of them. So, starting from the top, there's a relics option here. And one of the things about the Total War series is, the way you win is relatively similar every single time. And I wanted to provide a way for players to win in more than one way, depending on their situation and their circumstances. And relics and prestige are both two different ways that can be achieved. Relics is interesting because there's going to be these holy items that get distributed across the map randomly. And if you so choose, you could do relic hunting and find them, bring them back to your settlement, and accrue points over time. Prestige you achieve through researching, winning battles, taking over territories and settlements, as well as building cultural structures in your settlement. So these are two of the ways that, besides just total domination, you could go about winning your game, as well as an aspect of risk that's in here, where if you do control an entire continent, that will accrue you victory points as well. Sim only is also another option here, where if you don't want to play out your battles every time, because that could take a little bit of time every time you have to do a battle. If you just want to have a quick game, you could do sim only. Otherwise, you'll be playing out your battles in a Total War fashion, where you'll be able to select your units and move them around a map and have your tactics and strategies come into play. You also have randomize. So instead of having your faction start in the same location over and over again every single game, you can randomize the starting locations of all the different factions in the game. So everybody starts in a new unique location, which could provide some fun, and some uniqueness to your game. Hardcore is another option that's interesting because this involves your units and your navy requiring supplies and ammunition to be able to function out on the game map. And so you're going to have to coordinate and plan accordingly as you expand your empire to develop trade routes to begin to deliver that supplies and ammunition to your organizational units. And of course, these trade routes could be captured and messed with, so that provides some additional layer of strategy and tactics on top of the existing gameplay. And hop swap is a simple setting which allows, usually when you start a game, everything's going to be locked out, right? The people who join the game are going to be there to play unless they want to leave whenever, then an AI will pick up. But you can't just have someone join your game randomly unless you select hot swap. In that case, you could have people come and go, whenever they choose, and an AI will pick up when they leave, and an AI will step down whenever they join. So, and also the other settings here, the sliders are pretty self-explanatory. You have your campaign length, the minutes per turn, the minutes of deployment before you start your battles, and then the minutes of the actual battle length. Of course, if a battle isn't completed in time, then whoever achieves the most damage is going to end up winning. So let's go ahead. We'll create this. You have 3 different save files that you can save to. Like the old NEF style, if you select one you already have data for, it's going to override. And so we'll go ahead. We'll create this game. This is the player setup screen, where essentially you'll be able to go and you'll be able to create alias, as well as select your faction. And you can see there when we wanted to join that game, it'll pop up accordingly. So we'll go ahead, we'll create that again, and it'll show up there. So we'll go ahead, we'll fill in an alias for this user, have to be at least two letters, and then we'll select the faction for them as well. We'll do TK, and then we'll select friends. And here you can get a detail of the game before you join it, what the settings are. And we'll name this person JK. And we'll give them, let's do Sweden. And so in this ready UI state, effectively every player has to go and select ready. And then the host of the game will be able to start it. And so this kind of carries over to what our next steps are going to be going forward. You know, after this, we want to start looking at the world map. We are getting together a Blender 3D model of the world map that we're going to be using for this game. I'll post it on the Patreon later that you can find in our profile link there if you want to get more details. And, you know, we want to start looking at getting on the world map view armies, navies, and settlements. The primary agents that are going to be operating on that game map. You know, we want to be getting agents to move around on the land. Using a nav mesh, we want to be able to get navies moving on the sea in a similar way. We want to get settlements set up with the graphical user interface to be able to provide things like different types of statistics, like your public order, your population growth, your tax level, your tax income, your trade income. You know, we're going to have, you know, different types of religious associations to your settlement based on population diversity, with animism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. And we also want to look at, you know, a construction menu for identifying what different type of structures you'll be able to set up, and their different categories, like whether like it's a government building or a military building, industrial building, factory building, etc. And we also want to look at garrisoning, so being able to put, you know, armies or soldiers inside your settlements, bringing them out, and then also taking your armies and putting them on holding them in your navies, and then being able to transport them across the different territories via that manner. So we'll continue to work on this and get this through. But if you have any feedback, just let us know. You know, we're always happy to look to see what people have to say and what things they would look forward to, or things that they think might be beneficial to change. So if you have any feedback like that, just let us know, and you have a wonderful rest of your day. Look forward to posting another update. We'll be doing this once a month throughout the entire prototyping phase. By July time, we'll have more dedicated timelines that we'll be sharing on Patreon, and then we'll have another video to kind of demo some of the other changes and things that we've come up with and produced. So you all have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.